Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan sehat untuk kita semua. Hi, my name is Jeremiah, and I will be your host for today's Ngabuburit Talks on unlocking data potential with generative AI. And a very warm welcome to today's Denodo and Sibernetik webinar in this special Ramadan month. So now, how is the fasting going, everyone? Yeah, I hope it went well because I hope so. And yeah, there is only 10 days remaining, right? Until the peak of Ramadan. Yeah, until the Lebaran. Okay. Okay, before we get started, there's just a couple things that I want to share. So the first one, the session will be recorded and made available for on-demand viewing. And the second one, on your Zoom panel, you will find a Q&A box, yeah, where you can submit your questions during the session. We'll address them right after the presentations. And the host, which is me, I will select up to 6 questions as the session is limited for 1 hour. But if the session is getting hot, I will increase the limit. I will increase the limit for the questions. That should be okay. Okay, and attendees who wait, Sean, thank you. So for attendees whose questions are chosen, please stand by and you may unmute for reread your questions in Q&A box. And is it for any follow-up or interactive discussion? And plus, we have fun lucky draws. Yeah, for those who participate by submitting questions special for Indonesian attendees. Yeah, you can next, Sean, please. Thank you. Okay, this is our speaker. The first, I'd like to introduce our 2 speakers for today. We have Bapak Syanuga Suntar Muniandi. Halo, Pak.
Apa kabar semua?
Ya, baik. Thank you. Yeah, Pak Syanuga Suntar is the Asia Pacific Director of Architecture and Chief Evangelist at Denodo, technologies with a career spanning over 20 years, mostly in data management and analytics. And also there is Pak Beni Prabowo as our moderator today. Hello, Pak Beni. It's
Hey,
good.
bro. All good.
Thank you. Okay, Pak Beni is the director from Sibernetik Integra. He has extensive experience in big data integration and data warehousing. And the implementation of strategic IT and analytics based on digital transformation. All right. Without further ado, I'd like to turn the session over to our moderator, Pak Beni. Pak Beni, the stage is yours.
All right, Jerry. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, selamat sore buat teman-teman yang ngabuburit sore hari ini, terutama yang merayakan puasa Ramadan. All right. Okay, thank you for joining us today in Ngabuburit Talks. We are here to explore how unlocking data potential with generative AI can revolutionize your businesses in this dynamic Indonesian market. So, yes, I'm Benny Prabowo, Chief Business from Sibernetik Integrated Data, your moderator for today's discussion. We are honored to have Shan Mungasutar as the Director of Data Architecture and Chief Technology Evangelist for Denodo APAC, joining us from Singapore. Hai Shan.
Terima kasih, Pak.
Ya, jadi beliau ini adalah rekan-rekan salah satu ahli dari prinsipal, terutama di data management dan analytics, yang akan memberikan expertise-nya kepada kita semua di sesi Ngabuburit Talk kali ini. Yes, Shan. Please introduce yourself.
Ya, Pak. Terima kasih ya, Pak. Terima kasih banyak-banyak untuk beri peluang untuk berbicara semua dengan kawan-kawan semua ya. For me, I'm actually having experience covering data management and analytic in this region. And Indonesia is actually a market that I always love. I love the food there. I love the people there. I always like to, come back to Indonesia to help, with our customers. So with that experience, what we are trying to do here is that how can we, enrich and enhance and modernize, some of the data ecosystem, data architecture of the customers. And I'm not sure how many of you heard about Denodo. Later on, we'll talk a little bit more about it. But we actually steering the data management world with the very innovative approach of data management, which is logical data strategy. So we'll actually talk a little bit more about it as we go. Yeah. And thanks for Benny for allowing us to be part of this wonderful webinar today.
All right, Sean, thank you. Ya, rekan-rekan semua, as you know, in this digital age, that is won by those who can harness the power of information. We are no longer just dealing with the flood of data. We are navigating a complex ecosystem of information. Think of it: customer insight, market trends, operational efficiency, and risk mitigation, all locked away in a different system. So speaking a different language, but can it understand each other? What if we could bring all data together, create unified languages, and empower AI to deliver insight that truly drive your business forward, where we can accelerate data into strategic advantage? That's exactly what Denodo is bringing to Indonesia. Yeah, today we will unveil the Denodo logical data strategy for generative AI, a game changer that will allow your business to do just that. Yeah, later we will show you how to ask a question in natural language or conversational language and get the answer that will help you to make a decision faster. All right, Sean, let's welcome Sean here to start the discussion.
Yes, please.
All right. So, Sean, after all these years, since the time organizations started to computerize the system since the late 80s, everyone has been trying to manage their data. Yeah, general assemble is for reporting. Yeah. But until now, even after we see technical advancement, many organizations are still struggling with data challenge and issue. Why are we facing this situation?
Very, very interesting question there, Pak Benny. And this is something that is very close to my heart too. In fact, I like to show this diagram, right? So if I want to travel back in my time, right, my own career journey, I started as the ETL engineer. And this is fresh after the graduation. I came into the data world. I was given the opportunity to start working on data warehousing and data mart projects. And obviously, especially what you just said, Pak Benny, right? After many, many years, almost 40 years now, organization trying to build data warehouse, data lake, we are still having that same issue, same challenge. And, to maybe dissect your question a little bit, if I want to just show these three charts, I think it is quite evident, why we are in this stage. If you look at the first one, of course, not need to go so deep into it. We know that data is growing. And of course, with GenAI, data is growing even further, even faster and even quicker. So that is given. So we need to have a better way, more modern way, more innovative way of managing the growth of data. But the second point there, right, is very, very crucial. And this is something that we picked from IDC in a survey that they done recently. They looked at in medium-sized to big organization. And what they found, even though the organization already have data warehouses, data marts, data lake, the users, in this case, business users, business use cases, including GenAI, when we want to start, we actually need to get data from not only one system, two systems. In many cases, in average, we are looking at 400 different systems. In fact, in my own experience, when we gone into a banking situation, they wanted to do a fraud management system. And the data system that they need to connect to get that fraud management system going is about 1,200 systems. So imagine, right, we have data warehouse, we have data lake, and still we need to go and connect to 1,200 different systems to get the data for the fraud management. And I think in your own experience, for audience who are here, you have actually experienced it in different ways and means, right? So that is the very big problem that we are facing, even though after we spend a lot of time and money in building data warehouse, data lake. Now, if I look at the third point, which is very, very crucial, and this is from my own experience, and this is also very true in Indonesian market too. There is a shift in now business users wanted to actually own the development and a business driving using the data. Gone were the time that they always depended on IT to do so, right? So if I take these three as a key indicators of moving forward, right? And then let's look at what is our data architecture look like. Right? I'm not sure whether this is a reflection of what you see in your organization, but through my own experience, when I speak to many of the customers, when I actually look at and ask the question, can you show me your data ecosystem? This is pretty much the diagram that we see. Right. So if you look at the different components there, right, you have the data warehouses, you have the data lake, we have Teradata, Oracle, which is the traditional data warehouses, data marts. We also have the new age data lakes, like, for example, Snowflake. We have the non-SQL MongoDB, for example, Databricks, and of course, not forgetting all the other, Hadoop-based data lakes. And of course, at the same time, we are moving into cloud, right? AWS, Google, Azure, and of course, in Indonesia, for example, Alibaba was actually started the journey quite evidently a while ago. But of course, very recently, we also have a lot of SaaS application like Snowflake, ServiceNow, Workday, Marketo, and many other applications. Now, if you look at this diagram, what you can see and what you can say is one single word to explain what this is. What come to my mind is distributed. And it's not a bad thing, right? Because that is how the ecosystem of data in environment that we have is evolving. And this is going to be more distributed in the future. Right. So if that is the case, and we actually looked at the three requirements in the trends that we see, what is then our direction moving forward? Right. The challenge is this, right? So if I look at the same equation, I need to go and connect to multiple systems to get the data, even though I have my data warehouse and data lake. The problem is I have multiple strings of connection to go get my data. Now, what is the problem that coming along with it? Now you see, right? Ownership issue, governance issue, policy issues. How do I connect? Who's going to be governing the PDP, for example? What about metadata management? What option do I have to go and connect, right? And what about my cost management of the whole equation? Now, I mean, coming back to your question, Pak Benny, this is where the challenge is, right? So we don't have a better way or innovative way of managing data because we are still dependent very, very much on the traditional or old data management policies and practices.
All right, Sean. Thanks. Yeah, given that data in the organization, will be distributed as they moving forward, right? With the data on-prem, on cloud, SaaS apps, and so on.
Yes.
What can be the solution consideration here, Sam?
Okay, good. Thanks for the question, Pak Benny. Okay, so if I start with this diagram that we saw earlier, right? My question to everybody here is that what if, right? What if I can actually have one streamlined agile platform, right? In this case, the logical data platform that is actually going to give you agile data, meaning when data changes, you get the data, unified and trusted. Unified here stands, I can actually go and get the data wherever it is, right? Doesn't matter whether it's on data warehouse, data lake, or applications, or API based, on cloud, on-prem, doesn't matter. I can actually get all the data unified. Trusted, most important, right? We need to get the data to be very governed. It is secured so that access is, granted appropriately. And who can actually see what data? It is actually all governed and given the data rightfully. And most importantly, data can be delivered in real time. And this can actually be consumed by any use case that we are talking about on top, right? Either is the traditional BI world or data analytic world, or most importantly for the discussion today, what if I have a GenAI application requirement and I can actually have one single platform like this? And that is exactly what Denodo is providing to our customers. And hopefully with our partnership here, Pak Benny, we can actually go and help many of our customers in Indonesia moving forward. Right. So the idea here is this, right? If I can actually deliver a platform like this, let's actually try to zoom into that orange box in the middle to see what is the architecture looking like. Right. So to simplify the architecture, of course, I'm not going to go too deep into it. Denodo does three things very, very optimally. First, we integrate. By integrate, we have actually more than 200 connectors to different data sources, data silos, right? Including your data warehouse, data marts, data lakes, your applications, your SaaS applications, and so on. After we integrate, we actually bring in the metadata. And next is the manage stage. In the manage, we actually do what we call as logical modeling of data, right? What we want to achieve at the end of the day is data products that can actually be leveraged by the users for different use cases, right? Now comes the part that I want to deliver that to the different use cases. So at the top, you can see that I can actually have BI tools that are actually coming and consuming data. I can actually have data science tool that is coming and consuming data, and they can use SQL, which is your ODBC, JDBC. Very, very easy, very straightforward. And all these are out of the box from Denodo. Of course, there can be applications which requiring data from API-based sources. Of course, Denodo provide that out of box too, right? So we actually provide OData, GraphQL, JSON format out of the box, right? But just right click, you can actually expose the data as API. Now, most importantly, you also see that on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side corner, data catalog. Remember in one of the diagrams that we saw earlier, there is a move towards business users wanting to drive the business decisions. It makes sense because business users knows the data well, knows the domain well. They actually should own that. But in the traditional approach that we look at what the current data practices that we have, that is quite difficult because it's very technical for business users to actually go and consume data. What Denodo does, actually we provide the data catalog, allowing the business users self-service data leveraging the logical platform. But of course, most importantly, this platform is actually full packed because Denodo is not a new kid on block. We actually been in the market for 25 years. So that means in the last 25 years, we perfected a lot of capabilities and function and features within the product, including performance. Like, for example, if you look at the 6 boxes at the right and left, we actually improved a lot of capabilities around performance. We actually embed a lot of recommendations, which are AI recommendations for performance and usage. Also, you're not forgetting that the data that is delivered to Denodo should be secured and governed. So of course, security and governance is something very, very important for us to deliver as part of the technology. And of course, on top of it, we actually leverage the active metadata to allow that to be monitored, audited, and also shared for the purpose of optimizing the environment even further. And now for the discussion that we are having today, we actually expanded these capabilities to also support your LLM initiatives. Right. So that is what the architecture look like, Pak Benny, and also for the audience.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Sean. Okay. Now we understood the meaning of logical data strategy, but we know that the data requirement for the AI initiatives are very different from the other use cases, like business intelligence or mobile application that you said, Sean.
Yes.
So how can the Denodo logical data platform help in this case?
Yes, very good question to follow up from what we are just talking about here, Pak Benny. So if I look at, we all know that GenAI is there. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody knows the potential of it. There's a growth potential of that, right? And of course, when we look at some of the analysts who are talking about this is from Gartner. They say that by 2026, definitely a lot of organizations will actually adopt a lot of these capabilities as part of the business, and which is true, right? We actually see a lot of, I guess, business use cases, business projects where Gen AI can actually be facilitating, right? And we see some examples here. In fact, we are actually helping some of the customers that we see in this different, I guess, industries, and of course more with their initiatives. Some are, sort of modernizing what their traditional way of doing things, like, for example, the hyper-personalization that we can see there. But they're also very, very new ones too. Like, for example, we are actually helping a bank with their AI-driven fraud detection. right? So very, very interesting use case. And of course, there are some which are very, very futuristic. Like, for example, many organizations are doing quantum AI, for example. So how can we actually deliver and help organization to move forward? But of course, when we look at this momentum, right, in Gen AI and leveraging AI for the business use cases and projects, we actually see there is some issues behind it. I think the best way to reflect it is if I look at this particular article or report that McKinsey came up not long ago. They looked at different organizations that is actually investing a lot and doing a lot of activities in Gen AI adoption. They realized that 66% of the leaders who are actually investing in Gen AI is actually a little not happy, right, with the outcome of the Gen AI investment that they're doing, or even how the Gen AI application is moving forward. In terms of potential that they expected from it, they are not getting fully the potential that they are hoping from the investment they've done. So through down in this report, when you go down further, they also looked at what are the reasons that 66% of these leaders are not happy, all right, or having issues. So they actually looked at many permutations of the challenges, issues, but of course, skills is one issue. Data security, data governance could be an issue, and many others. But one of the top one that came up as the problem that is actually hindering organization from really taking advantage of the Gen AI initiative is actually data management, right? So they actually looked at this and then say that there's a problem with how this Gen AI application is being architectured, being adopted. There's missing piece in this whole equation. That missing piece is a foundational layer for data that is going to actually allow Gen AI application to be implemented effectively, right? So let's look at why this issue is arising, right? So if I just try to bring the permutation of it. So this is an example. I actually have a business question, right? I say, how many loans have been granted last week, in my organization? And pretty sure, right? If you ask this question currently in your organization or your own business questions, the answer will be, sorry, I don't have the answer, right? Why is that? The reason is very simple, right? Because Gen AI, in this case, the LLM models that we were talking about, is actually stuck in point in time. The reason is the different versions that we know that is available in the market, ChatGPT, now DeepSeek and so on, they are trained on certain data which is publicly available and is actually trained on what is available at that point of time, right? But of course, that means whatever that is not publicly available, in this case, if I look at my own information, right, corporate information, that is all not there in the public domain. So they're not able to answer the question. So if I ask a question like, about Nusantara, we know or IKN, right? For sure, LLM knows because those information is available in public domain that is already been trained, for this LLM to know about Nusantara. If you ask question about Nusantara, yes, you'll have the answer. But of course, if you ask very specific question about your corporate, right? For example, I want to know inventory level as of today. Or if I'm asking about how many loans that we rejected last week. Or we want to talk about, what was the complaint that we received from my most loyal customer, right? Those information is not there because those information is not available in public domain so that the LLMs are not trained in that way. So how to fix this? To fix this, if I look at this, the same flow that we talked about, right? I asked this corporate question, the answer is not going to be there. To fix this, we need to bring and deliver this information, this is corporate information, to LLMs. So when I deliver this information to LLMs is knowing the context of my question, in this case, how many loans I've actually granted last week or this week, and I know where the data is coming from, but then I get the answers coming out. However, this is easily said than done, Pak Benny.
Okay, Sean. Yeah, let's talk about RAG, retrieval augmented generation.
Yes.
Yeah, we know that RAG is a popular approach adopted by industry for architecting AI solution, for example, GenAI, Agentic, and the other providers.
Yes.
Now, how can the denodological data strategy help in implementing a good RAG?
Okay, very good segue to what we were discussing, Pak Benny. So here is the different approaches or different capabilities that Denodo offer to allow organization to move in very, very effectively. Especially remember the 72% of the leaders who said that, I'm actually having data challenges to really bring my, my AI initiative off the ground. So to help those, challenges, Denodo provide around 4 areas of how we can go about helping organization to solve that data challenges problem, right? So if you look at this, we have something called AI for data management. That means we actually leverage the AI capabilities, in this case, the LLMs, as part of the data management capabilities. The second point here is that I can actually do data management for AI, right? We'll talk a little bit more about each one of this. Now, the way that we look at AI for data management is actually done through what we call as Denodo Assist. I'll show some examples later on, right? So that's the 2 areas, 3 areas. But of course, to also expedite the implementation or development of your AI applications, Denodo also provide what we call as Denodo AI SDK. Right. So this is actually going to help organization to be very strong and very solid in terms of defining the foundation for their custom AI applications. It could be for chatbot development, agentic, and so on. Right. So let's explore 1 or 2 examples here. If I look at this example, this is actually a user-driven interface for customers to interact with the data. So typically, if you look at a business user who's not very technical, they do not understand SQL, for example, all they can do is maybe ask plain English, in this case NL, natural language questions, to to understand more about what data is available to them, how can they retrieve the data and use the data. So here's the example, right? So I can actually type plain English, or in this case, I can also combine multiple languages. You say, for example, if I'm comfortable with Indonesian language, Bahasa Indonesia, I can actually type English and Bahasa. LLM behind the scene will understand it, right? In this particular case, I'm actually asking names of my customers, my preferred customers in the US. Right. So what happened behind the scene, because it's actually LLM assisted query, behind the scene, the LLM will run, and then it does a few things. First, it actually generates the query for you, right? In this case, the SQL generated, automatically generated by LLM behind the scene, and it actually be highlighted to the users to say, this is going to be the query that I'm going to execute. But of course, being a non-very techie users, they will actually need to understand what this query is all about. But for what happened in Denodo platform, we actually provide the query explanation. So you can actually verify that, this query that is generated is actually going to this particular table, and it's actually getting these data elements. That is what is fulfilling my question that I'm asking. And obviously, if you're happy with it, I can just enter execute, and you get the data. Now, if you look at this is actually a trend that's actually happening in the BI world. So gone were the day that I need to use a BI tool to go and look for the data elements and then put it together and then drive a chart out of it. Now users are actually talking to the data, and then the data is actually giving you the input that you're asking through the leverage of NLP. In this case, of course, behind the scene is LLMs, right? So here's one example of how AI is actually assisting in data management, and of course bundled with the assist through LLMs. Right? Let's look at another example. Now, we looked at a while ago, our data ecosystem is distributed, is in siloed. For example, we look at some example we talked about earlier, right? If I'm actually having a request for data, I need to maybe go into 400, 500 different applications to get the data. Now, remember one thing, LLMs are not optimized for data management. They're very good at data modeling, right? Algorithms, but they're not good in data processing and data management part. So typically what will happen when you go and ask a prompt, right? When you want to ask a question, it goes to an orchestration layer, right? It goes to, of course, you need to understand what this question is all about. Typically you go to vector DB to understand the permutation of it. And then the next step is we generate the SQL, right? To get the data. Of course, assuming that I don't have Denodo in this picture, and I need to go and get data from maybe say 200 different applications, each of the query need to be fired against the 200 different application to get the data. Imagine how complex it can be, right? In this case, because Denodo forms the rack architecture, and we actually provide the logical fabric for the data in this architecture, all that user need to do in this case is that go into Denodo to ask one question, and all the data required for that particular use case is actually delivered. It goes to the LLM engine, and then comes the output in terms of results, right? So in this architecture, what is actually very, very useful for customers who are actually embarking on Gen AI initiative is that one single point of data, right? So we optimize the data management for LLM. As I said, LLMs are not optimized for data management. We do that for you. And of course, delivering the same value in terms of the fine-grained security and governance, as well as real-time data for your AI initiatives. And we align this with all your leading players, AI players out there, whether it's Azure OpenAI or is AWS Bedrock, Google Vertex, NVIDIA, and many others. So your choice is open, right? We are not like limiting the choice in terms of you need to work with one. It's actually pretty open. So here's an example of Denodo helping as the data management for AI by providing the logical data fabric. Then remember I talked about the last bit, right? If you look at this one, this is our Denodo AI SDK. If you look at the complexity that we saw in terms of stages just now, it's all sort of packed into one single solution, which is Denodo AI SDK, that allow us to be actually deploying this almost like an agentic, right, for the purpose of your data needs for different use cases. So obviously, this is actually going to help us to streamline all the data requirement in a very easy to use approach, which is all SDK, which is a AI, API based. And of course, you actually get the sample, AI chatbots for you to actually embark on these projects very, very quickly and easily. All right. So just to sort of summarize that, Pak Benny, for your question. So AI for data management for AI, and of course, Denodo AI SDK.
All right, San. Thank you. It's a really insightful discussion and material. So yes, rekan-rekan yang join Ngabuburit Talk kali ini, jadi bisa put question di Q&A. Jadi kita bisa discuss di sini ya. Okay, let me summarize the discussion, Sean, based on you explain answering all the questions. So yeah, I think it is a takeaway from my side. The first, Gen AI is transformational. Yes, it makes complex technology more accessible to wider audience and enhancing our ability to create, innovate, and solve a problem. Yeah, it drives our work efficiency and productivity in all industries where 80% businesses projected adopting AI, Gen AI by 2026. And yes, this is one of the important thing. One of the key challenge about the Gen AI initiative is about handling sensitive corporate data. If we are not right in selecting technology, we could send the data out from corporate premises. Therefore, choose the right technology. Yes, of course, Denodo here. And then the second, we need to get the right, we need to get out our data AI ready. Yeah, the right data foundation for Gen AI. Yeah, integrated complex and silo data into logical data fabric for Gen AI application, where corporate knowledge and context understood.
Yes.
The third, Denodo logical data fabric is the quickest, easiest, and cost-effective way to get your organization's AI ready. The base technology of Denodo is data virtualization, access to fresh data in real time, unified access control, logical data fabric, easy to use Denodo AI SDK. And Denodo is a global leader in data virtualization and now generative AI, join force with Sibernetik excellence in Indonesia. This synergy ensure that Indonesia businesses gain seamless access to Denodo logical data management and generative AI, tailored to specific needs and supported by on-the-ground expertise you can rely on yeah, based on our expertise from Sibernetik. And yeah, about Sibernetik, Sibernetik is an Indonesian technology integrator firm specializing automating downstream data pipeline. We have our own proprietary data modeling and integration framework, which called Atomic Repository Model, yeah, powered by a lean team of experts who excel in the cutting edge technology across industries here. So yeah, we are not only a solution integrator, but yeah, we are investing in the expertise. That's why we are selling expertise, not selling SI. Yeah, our capabilities span enterprise event-driven architecture, operational data store, data warehousing, data AI, application, and security services. All right. I think that's a key takeaway from my side, Chan. If you want to add some.
Definitely. I mean, Pak Benny, what you mentioned is very, very important, right? So what we bring is, of course, the technology. But of course, what is important is how do you bridge the gap between what the user, in this case, the customer need, and the technology is very, very important. And that is what we see as Cybernetic being the bridge between the requirements and bringing the right technology into the customer. So you understand the customer needs better. So we are just a technology provider to enable customers to move forward with their Gen AI initiative. So we are looking forward to our relationship and partnership, to be successful in Indonesia.
All right, Sean, sure. Thank you. All right. Yep. We continue with the live demo. Jerry.
Test.
Let me.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, Pasha, you can turn off your share screen.
Yes.
Okay, wait. I will share my screen, everyone, regarding the live demo. Please wait. Yeah, okay. Now, all right, we are moving on the demo session with Pak Beni and Pak Rusya from Sibernetik Integra Data. In this demo, we'll showcase the GenAI chatbot from Denodo across 4 industries. There is mining, insurance, utilities, and banking. So I'd like to hand it over to Pak Beni. Please, Pak Beni, can you lead?
Yes. Next slide, please, Jerry. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Jerry. So yeah, this is our live demo on this Ngabuburit talk today. So we are going for showcasing some of use cases that covering banking, insurance, mining, and utility. So yeah, of course, we are going to share the main features of platform itself. There are some features that really important for delivering this Gen AI. And then, yeah, the most important thing here, the benefits with the platform, I can highlight here. Is this a single access point for all data. So you can easily access to all the corporate data, and then fine-grained access control, so we can manage all the access. So we have a visibility in operating the platform, and then yeah, access to fresh data in real time. So yeah, we can access all the data in our premise, which is in the real time, and then and all process here with it easy to use AI SDK. So it's a ready AI SDK inside the platform. And then the fifth is a simplify Gen AI adoption for a developer. All right. Okay, for this live demo, I have my team. Rosha is our technical sales. So Bing is here in this Ngabuburit Talks webinar. Yeah, this is the use cases that we are going to showcase: mining, insurance and utility, banking. We have the sample data set that already prepared by the team and going to showcase this live showcase. Seeing is believing. Please go ahead, Rosa.
Oke, thank you, Pak Beni. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore. Hello, everyone. I'm Rusya. I'm stream engineer, also the technical sales, especially for the Denodo platform. You can call me Rus. I am really happy to be with you today to discuss about the Denodo platform with you, all of you. Let me share my screen.
Jerry, can you
Okay,
please give a share to Rusya?
Yeah. Okay, no worries.
Okay, a little bit remind for the Denodo platform. Today we are now data-driven world, right? Organization, business, enterprise, all of them constantly looking for ways to access, integrate, analyze data faster. That's the Denodo platform comes in. So for today demo, I will be focusing on three key components for the Denodo platform. The first is Denodo Design Studio. And then we will explore a bit about Denodo Data Catalog. And then last but not least, we will explore more about the Denodo AI SDK. So let's dive in. Okay, this is user interface for the Denodo Design Studio. Everyone already see this, right? Okay. My first impression of this user interface is this is very good, very cool, a little bit stylish. I mean, there are other tools with the good user interface, but this is the best user interface I've seen. This is one of my first interest on Denodo. Very good user interface. And then one of the specialty for the Denodo data visualization is unified data access across multiple sources. Where this is, we enterprise have many data sources, I believe. There are DBMS database, there are API, REST interface, or maybe just a simple file like CSV file or Excel files. So in the Denodo, it will have the unified access to all of your data. Let me show you how to access the data. From my left menu, this is a data sources. So let's say we want to create new data source. So this is we have here many type of data sources. Okay. I believe all enterprise have this kind of data sources. There is Postgre, MySQL, and also Oracle, IBM DB2, and for the analytical big data, also ClickHouse, Databricks, and so on. I mean. So what I want to give you sample here before. Denodo Design Studio itself, we can call this is the heart of the Denodo platform. It is the development environment where you can create and manage all your data virtualization layer. Again, user interface is quietly intuitive. Drag and drop. Let's say we want to demo how can this Denodo can integrate from multiple data sources. Right now, I have a PostgreSQL database connection. I want to demo this when I want to show your reports, show you a query based on one table from the DBMS and two files. It is Excel file, one Excel file, and also one CSV file coming from the S3 Amazon S3. We will connect this to the existing demo Postgres. Then we will create a base view for the data source. This is exactly what on the technical part, what we call virtualization platform. So we connect the Denodo connect. We create connection to the data source, and we only bring the metadata, not the data. We can create this. That's it. Now we have table customers, right? And we also get the metadata from the source. So we can actually see the data, query data. From the beginning, there are no data coming to Denodo unless we do the query. And the query itself will be pushed down to the data source. So for the Design Studio demo, I will give you again one table as a master and also two files. Okay, now we have one file. This is sales transaction. We call it, we named it as a sales transaction. It is a CSV file. We text the connection. Okay. Let us see the content of the file. Okay. And then we also have another file. This is Excel. Okay, we upload it to the Amazon S3, and we load the file here. This is the metadata. This is the content. And then we create the query for joining these tables right here. Okay. Let's build a new one. Have the sales transaction here. And then we can have the customer here. And also the product details. And then intuitively we can do drag and drop for join. Okay, so we can choose which field to column to join in between the table. Okay. And then we can set the output, which columns to be outputted to the view, to your report. I already built the view here, so this will be the complete one. And we can set the join condition here. Okay. And also for this demo, I do also group by. And then we also can set the output. And the output itself, we could also customize that using some functions. Okay. And after that, we can run this. Sorry, this is. Okay. Okay. This is the all view joining three data sources. What is good in this? We can see also the execution trace. This is very easy for the technical team, so we can also see the how long the execution run. Okay. Okay, that's for the Denodo Design Studio. And then another item is Denodo Data Catalog, where we can search all of our data here, listed here. Now, this is what Denodo call is a self-service, self-driven analytics. So we don't have, if we want to create report, see the report, we don't have to call IT department just to create the report. Here we can search. Let's say that we want to check what any tables or reports for customer. Okay, there are a few tables here. We can also click that, and we can basically we can talk. User can do themselves, and we can see the result. This is for the Denodo data catalog. And again, last but not least, now we showing you a demo for the Denodo AI SDK. Basically, we will based on the presentation before, we will try using this to search and also make conversation with our data using LLM. Okay, for the this is for the setting up. By this conversation, we just want to direct our Denodo platform to specific answer, to specific tables or specific forms. Okay, well, for one try, we will ask about the mining code. If you remember here, We have a database here, webinar for webinar call. Webinar call. Okay. Right. Okay, what we have here, the LLM, the Denodo SDK can explain what all data items inside the webinar call data. This is the metadata question. So if we click here, we have explanation where this data comes from. Let's say we want to ask more business question like this. Based on the data you have, which areas of increased production? There is a blue button for data here. So this is detected as a data question. Okay, the answer. Show the production data for May. Okay, this is the answer. Based on the answer, this will be, we have an icon here, the Denodo. Denodo explain what query being pushed down to the database. And we can also download the result. And for some of data, we can also see the graph. Okay. Let's say they want to, I want to check the percentage. Okay, the answer is a bit more detailed. Let's say we want to compare some results. You see that on this question is actually LLM and AI, but the context still follow the same context with the previous question. Okay, for this percentage increase here, there are no Denodo data querying to the push down to the database, but they it follow the previous context here, and then answer the results here. Okay, it's getting interesting. So now I want to show you for the, let's say, insurance, for the insurance data here. Again, all the data here is not, hard text, yeah, right? Because all of them is coming from the table. Yeah, basically, I want to ask which sales agent has the highest number of customer, Budi Santoso. Then let me clear the result first. This is because there is a limitation for the token, so we need to clean. Okay. And maybe I want to show that with the table-based interface. Okay, if we click here, we can see what is the SQL generated and being pushed down to the data source. We also here the result of the table, and also we can see the graph here. And now I want to let's say that I want to not directly guide the Denodo platform. I want to just ask about I know there is electricity data we have here. We have data for the webinar utility. Basically, this is for electricity data demo. So I want to ask directly without guide to webinar electricity. Yeah. Yeah. Then we try to little bit organize it. What do you think, Pak Ben? It's good.
It's interesting. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. And maybe we set another question for maybe we have data also in the Bandung city. Okay. For the last demo, I want to try to this data, bank data, but I don't know if Denodo can answer this. I am trying to little bit exploring for the LLM. Want to ask about the here. Do you know the age range for Gen Z and millennials? Trying to joining the context. I don't know if it can answer or not. Okay. Then I want to make it, I don't know, I want to give this LLM is a little bit medium to hard question, complex, a little bit complex. Offer promotion to Gen Z customer who have the top 3 highest balance in each province. Yeah, maybe we need a little more deep on this. That is Fabian for the demo.
All right, good. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Thank you for the live demo. Okay. Yeah, we have some question from the audience here, Shan or Macy, if you can point out all the audience, maybe from the bottom. Point out all the question on the screen. Can
Yeah,
we?
yeah, Pak Benny, I'm sure I already picked 6 questions because during our limited time, the session is 1 hour. So
Okay.
I guess, yeah, I know it's getting hot here. We can see the question is all 12. It's 12 questions. And okay, I already picked. There's a 6. So for the first one, it's from Doni Renato. Yeah. Do you know the platform? Is it on-prem or on cloud?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to
Shan,
answer that one?
Yeah, go ahead,
Pak
Shan.
Benny, yes. Okay, so interestingly, Denodo is actually quite a flexible platform. It can actually go, can be implemented on-prem, or it can also be implemented on cloud. And of course, any cloud on choice, your choice, which is, Azure, AWS, Google, can be done. In fact, in some cases, some customers actually having multi-cloud architecture too, right? Because you can actually implement Denodo either on cloud, on-prem, but your data can still be either, coming from cloud, coming from on-prem. Denodo can handle that part very, very well. So to answer quickly, we actually support implementation both on-prem as well as on, on cloud.
Okay, thank you, Shan.
Okay, I think it's very, very clear. It can be hybrid, right, Sean?
Can be hybrid, yes, depending on the requirements of the customer, yes.
Okay. Okay. And the second one is we can see that can Anggara. Well, it's very interesting because it's regarding the PDP, the perlindungan data pribadi. Okay, his question is, considering the recent enactment of the Perlindungan Data Pribadi (PDP) regulation in Indonesia, which draws heavily from the European Union General Data or GDPR, Can you elaborate on how the Denodo platform, its underlying the technologies ensure full compliance with the nuance provisions of PDP? Specifically, how does Denodo handle data localization requirements, cross-border data transfers, and consent management in a manner that aligns with the strengthened data protection standards set forth by PDP, while simultaneously addressing the potential conflict with the regional data Sibernetik allows an international data transfer mechanism. I think Canada he's a lawyer here. He's from a law firm, so he is
Sure.
you can answer it, Sean or Fabini.
Yeah, I'll take the question. So security and governance is something very, very crucial and critical in any data and related activities. And knowing that and recognizing that, Denodo actually built a very stringent and very strong platform and framework for security and governance, right, within the Denodo platform. That's the reason, during my demonstration or the showcase a while ago, in the architecture, security and governance is a crucial, critical aspect of the architecture, and it's part and puzzle of the Denodo platform, how we manage data. So in terms of the extension of what we can do is quite interesting, right? One is, for example, if you have PDP, PII, PHI data in your database, in your data environment, Denodo can actually help to scan and identify this information quickly, and also auto tagging that so that I can actually tag it as PHI, PII, so that I can use that as part of my data sharing, data access, and so on. Now, on top of that, Denodo also comes with a lot of data protection and data security capabilities. For example, if I want to do data masking, it's part and puzzle of the technology. If I want to do data encryption, that is also part and puzzle of the capabilities. We also support things like RBAC, role-based access control. Now we also support ABAC, which is attribute-based access control. So all this in combination becomes very, very strong in terms of how we actually put the framework around data security, data governance. In fact, during the, a few years back when Europe, region, EU actually came up with the GDPR, Denodo was actually implemented in many of our customer sites specifically for GDPR requirements. So these capabilities can be very well implemented in our regional requirements, like in Indonesia and other parts of the world as well. I hope that answers the question. Yes, we support that out of the box.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Shan. And we go to the next question. It's from Ebenhard Marpau. Denodo has several competitors that were well-known and more familiar. Besides pure data visualization, what are the advantages of choosing Denodo compared to other competitors?
Okay, I want to just make sure that we are not data visualization, we are data virtualization. I think the very different permutations or context there. Data visualization is reporting tool, right? BI tool. We don't play in that space. We are a data virtualization, or in actual sense now what we do, because we actually cover security, governance, performance, active metadata. That is the reason why I keep on calling the platform as a logical data platform. Because much more capabilities in terms of managing it. Now, in terms of direct competition, I don't think we have that many competition out there. The closest that we can think of is maybe a product which is now sort of, in terms of R&D and development, they actually, not doing so much, which is, TIBCO. But other than that, in terms of really the industry leader in terms of having logical data platform, Denodo is the platform of choice, and I think we are the leader in the space. But of course, if you have any specific questions in terms of comparing that with your maybe technology of choice that you have in mind, let us know. We'll be more than happy to come and help you to sort of have that clarity in terms of what we do compared to what the others do. One of the key aspect I want to just leave behind, right? Sometimes there are some misconception. When we say a logical data strategy, one thing that we don't do is replication of data. Because in the past, when you talk about data warehouse, data lake, we always need to have an ETL process to replicate data. If you realize the architecture that we put up a while ago, right? Agile unified layer for trusted data. What we don't do is that we do not replicate data one more time. So that's actually a lot of savings for customers who are going into a very innovative project like GenAI. I hope that answered the question too. Or if you have a follow-up question, do let me know, right? I can always clarify that also.
Yeah, please. After this session, I will give you a direct email too if you guys have follow-up questions or there's a question that we haven't answered here.
Yep.
You can give us an email and I will send it to you for the attendees, including the recording. Okay, next is from Rio J. May I know the main advantage of Denodo compared to traditional data integration solutions like ETL? And could you tell the main challenges of adopting data virtualizations with Denodo?
Okay. So maybe the main benefit, I think we mentioned a few. In fact, Pak Benny, when during the sort of conclusion, he also mentioned a few things, right? One, we actually allow agile, centralized, which is unified data layer, which is actually logical, right? So what I mentioned earlier also is very, very relevant. We don't need to copy or replicate data one more time, but we actually deliver the enterprise data in a very easy way, in a real-time way, but governed, right, to all the business use cases. So that is the advantage. So can you repeat the second part of the question, Jerry?
Yeah, the second part is, could you tell the main challenges of adopting data virtualization with Denodo?
I would say two aspects, right? One is maybe many people still don't understand the real value of logical data strategy. Because they always think that, oh, this is going to be another data warehouse or data lake or data mart. Sometimes they actually have that mindset. Second thing is this value need to be actually brought up to your leaders, right? Your top decision makers who are actually going to be the one who's actually saying, yes, go ahead. They need to understand the capabilities and the buy-in, right? So two aspects. One, understand the technology very, very well. And that should be something that is very relevant to the requirements that you have at hand. Second thing is there need to be a buy-in from your top management in terms of this technology will actually be something that will be solving their business challenges. And of course, one area that we always feel as a requirement for implementation of technology like Denodo, please work with a very strong implementer like in this case Cybernetics. That will be actually helpful, very, very helpful in your implementation. So very, very important. It's not only technology, but the implementation also need to be something done by a very capable partner, in this case Cybernetics.
All right. All right, Shan, thank you for your very clear answer for Rio J question. And the next one, it's from Fadli Mardana. He asked about need additional cost to enable AI features. Does it need additional cost to enable AI features? How about the LLM host server? Is it by internet to cloud or need dedicated server on customer side? What LLM used by Denodo? Thank you.
Okay, so maybe I can answer this question too. Now, LLM of choice is actually pretty open, as I mentioned earlier, right? So we don't dictate what LLM will be chosen or used by the customer. We are pretty open. The LLM choice is actually left to the, in this case, customers to choose, right? Whichever platform that they are very familiar with or they like in terms of implementing it. From the cost perspective, from a licensing perspective, maybe I'll leave it to Pak Danny to also cover that a little bit. There are different tiers of, how we, I guess, sell into the market. But of course, if you go with a light option, for example, it might not have the necessary capabilities that you wanted to implement in certain contexts. But of course, when you go with the tier, which is Enterprise Pro tier, it comes everything bundle, right? So there's no additional licensing that you need to specifically pay specifically to implement GenAI. It's actually part and puzzle of the tier.
Okay. Okay, so the last one is from Miftahu Salam. What benefit using Denodo for business user and how far the logical data platform can help business user to make decisions? That's the last one.
Pak Benny, you want to answer that or I can also answer? It's up to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so remember the element that Pak Rus was showing earlier, right? The data catalog is a feature that is specifically built for business users to really engage with the data. Because why we have data catalog? The reason is because in the past, even now, many of the platform that is there for data consumption is still not giving the data in a business context for business users to leverage. So that is where the challenge is, and that is why the business users always need to go to IT for help. And sometimes that's the delay. There's a issue between the exchange, and by the time IT comes back, it might be wrong, and then they need to go back and so on, right? Now, to avoid that totally, data catalog is an interface for business users. So obviously they can actually see what is available in the data environment, which is actually presented in business context, which is very, very important. So business users can see data in business context, which are what we call as data products, and they can actually go ahead and use it and leverage it for whatever use case that they have. And if they need to have, say, for example, certain fixes of the data or additional elements to the data, all they need to do is just raise a request, and then that will be fulfilled. For example, there are many situations or many use cases where Denodo is implemented as data marketplace. And basically the idea is that for users to use Denodo as a data marketplace, for them to come and consume data, use it, and of course, manage it and in the go. So it is actually a very good platform, proven platform for business users for the data needs.